There's just something about an escape room that creates an instant addiction. Maybe it's the puzzle solving, maybe it's your ego among friends, or maybe it's the exhilarating feeling when you finish that keeps you wanting more. Well, that's exactly what happened to the owners of East Coast Escape Room after they played their very first escape room. Christie and Justin were both middle school teachers when a friend of theirs told them about his amazing experience in an escape room. Not having any clue what they were jumping into, they were eager to try what their friend was raving about. And then it happened. The addiction began after the first game and turned into a marathon of rooms in a matter of hours. Daydreaming at school of what kinds of puzzles they could come up with, Justin decided it was all or nothing. Let's see how they turned from teacher to ER owner here on Find Your Escape.
Hi guys, welcome back to the show. You're watching Find Your Escape, and I am your host, Amanda Contreras, and I am here with Christy, the owner of East Coast Escape Rooms in New Jersey. Super excited. You're our first New Jersey escape room, so hi, how are you?
Good, how are you doing today?
Super rad. Christy, you and Justin, how long have you guys owned East Coast Escape Rooms?
We just celebrated our 2-year business anniversary last month.
Oh, happy birthday!
Thank you.
And then, so that would have been in January.
Yes.
What did you guys do before you started your escape room? What was kind of like your past life?
So we were teachers for a while. We both taught, I taught kindergarten for a while, and then I moved up to middle school science. And he did the same thing. He was a middle school teacher as well. So in July of 2015, we played our first escape room. Our friend was like, "Well, I just did this really cool thing." He started explaining it to us, and Justin and I love board games. We love anything with strategy. And we're like, we need to go do this. So we literally got on the phone and found an escape room and went to it and played and absolutely fell in love with it.
Do you remember which game you played first?
It was called The Secret Agent. So it was like some spy game. And we won. We did it in 43 minutes. We thought we were the coolest. And then we went back and played like 4 more the same week. We just absolutely fell in love with the concept of it. And then as I was teaching during my lunch break, I just had all these ideas swirling in my head about fun games that escape rooms could do. So I started writing them down just for fun. And my husband looked at them and he's like, "Oh, these are not bad." He's like, let's do this. So we decided to just start an escape room business.
I love how your face lit up when you were like, and when I was in school, I was thinking of all this, and like your face just went like to a whole nother place. I'm so excited. So I know that you truly love what you do.
I do. I really do. We kept teaching at the same time as owning this, and it just got to be too much. So we had to make a decision. It was all or nothing. So we quit teaching, and we've been doing this full time ever since.
And how long have you been doing it full time?
So I guess about 1.5 years then.
Do you find that being a game master, watching people is kind of like honing in kindergartners?
Oh, yeah. It's funny, the adults sometimes we have to keep under control more than some of the younger players that we have. It's so funny. But absolutely, teaching and doing this are very similar in certain aspects. So.
Yeah. Do you guys have any like crazy stories that have happened or fun, exciting moments that happened in your escape room?
I have to think for a second. We definitely have fun and exciting things all the time. We've actually had 4 proposals, which those are always really exciting when they happen. So definitely the proposal stories are fun. We have a creepy cabin in the woods setting that we've had a proposal done in, and it's just so funny because it's just this menacing game, and all of a sudden the guy is down on his knee asking for her hand in marriage, and she's just totally taken back.
That's awesome. And then where are you guys located in New Jersey? Are you guys in like a metro area? Are you near restaurants? Or I mean, what's the atmosphere around your?
So we're located in Toms River, New Jersey. We're probably about a 15 to 20 minute drive from Seaside Heights. So we're right on the Jersey Shore. The area is It's probably got about 100,000 people in Toms River alone, and then the surrounding areas are fairly large as well. So we're not a big city, but we're also not extremely rural either. We're just suburban.
And then how many rooms do you guys have?
We have 3 different games here. We have Deadwood Cabin, which is the game I was just describing before, the spooky cabin in the woods. We have Summerfield Place, which is our mystery game, where a family has disappeared from their home and you're working as investigators to figure out what's happened to them. That's more of our family-friendly one. And then we have the Vampire's Lair, which is what I'm in right now.
Okay, so tell me about your first room.
So Deadwood Cabin is that you and your group were traveling through the woods, but your car broke down, your phones are all dead, thunderstorm has rolled in. So you see a light on in the distance. So your group decides you want to head toward that light, and you find a spooky cabin in the woods. So your group goes into the cabin, and then the story kind of unfolds from there. All of our games here are objective based. So you're not actually trying to escape out. And I always try to make everyone extremely aware of that before they go into the game. So the goal is not to escape. You need to do something inside. For Deadwood Cabin, we do not tell you what the objective is. So it is revealed to your team while you're in there, but you need to discover it yourself. And it goes strongly along with the story that unfolds as you're playing.
That's great. And then how many people are you allowed in there?
That's a smaller game. We've had little as 2, but we go up to a maximum of 6.
Okay. And then is that family friendly? What ages are allowed in that room?
That one is the least family friendly out of the 3. We usually recommend 13 and up for that one, but I've had young kids go in that are perfectly fine. So it all depends on the child and the adult.
Right, sure. And then your second room is which one?
Our second room is Summerfield Place. So the family has disappeared from their home, and you're working as detectives to try to figure out what has happened to them. So yeah, it's just a typical mystery. That one is definitely family friendly. And that room can hold up to 8 players because there is a lot to do inside of that one. It's a larger space as well.
And what's the difficulty on that one?
The difficulty on that one is about a 30% success rate. Now, when you book your game here, you have the option to choose competitively, which means you can only ask for up to 5 hints, or you can choose play for fun mode. So you can have as many hints as you want. So it all depends on what you want as a customer. So yeah, it lets everybody have the experience that they want to have.
Okay, great. And then your last one, your vampire room, which is the one that you're in now. Yes. What's the story behind that?
So the story is that a group of local vampire hunters have disappeared, and all of you, being vampire hunters yourselves, have decided to come in to investigate. And their last known location has led you to right here. But no one knows what the weakness is of the vampire that lives inside. So your team needs to discover what the weakness is, and you need to vanquish the vampire to win the game.
Oh, that's so great. And then how difficult is that room?
This one's fairly difficult. It's probably about 15 to 20% success rate competitively. And you also kind of play in the dark. So you get flashlights, but it's definitely a darker game, which makes it more challenging, but also so much more satisfying when you do win.
Okay, that is super awesome. That is fun. So your hint system, how did you come up with your competitive or fun play hint system? Because that's really cool. I mean, especially for a player who maybe, like as your family, you want to just go in for fun with your kids. And then, let's say you are playing teams or whatever, and you want to, beat the couple that played last week, then you can do competitively. How did you guys come up with that type of system?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly what you were just saying. We have all different types of groups that come in. We have the family that comes in, the mom, the dad, and their 2 kids. And then we have the group of, 6 adults that are coming in, and all they want to do is beat the clock. We have a leaderboard out there for people who are interested in it. Most people aren't interested, but we do have a lot that are. So we just felt that it wasn't fair to everyone to limit them with only 5 hints, because some groups need more help than others. And that's okay. We want them to have a fun time. And I don't want them to feel bad that, oh, they lost because they only were able to get 5 hints and they needed more than that. So if they want to just play for fun and just kind of, do the room and ask for as many hints as they want, that's perfectly fine with me. I just want everybody to have an awesome experience, a fun time out, and, come back and play more.
So with your team, you and your husband, are you the puzzle thinker and he is the builder? Are you guys both the thinkers and both the builders?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when we're trying to think of a new game, my husband will come up with the theme that he wants to do. So, for instance, he said, "Oh, let's do a vampire-themed room." And I'm like, yes, yes. So I am the puzzle thinker, designer. I sit there and I research everything and try to figure out, okay, what would be in the vampire's lair? What would make sense?
That is the hardest part for me. That is such. I think that's why I went to a franchise, because I'm like, I don't have to think about the puzzles because I don't know if I'm actually that smart. So I give there are so many awesome puzzles out there, and I'm just like, I would have never thought of this. That's why I'm such a good player. I mean, not good player, but that's why I love playing, because I am experiencing it as a player, going, oh my God, this is so awesome. I love this. Yeah. I love the awe feeling, Yeah. That's so great.
Yeah. So we come up with all the puzzles, and then obviously some of them get thrown out at the end when we're testing the room, but both he and I build everything. He's more of a builder than I am, but I try. We do everything in-house. So we design the entire game, we build everything. Everything that you see in our games is done by us. So we're very proud of that.
Yeah, I would definitely be. How long did it take you guys from idea of, you know what, I think we really need to do this, to open?
To open the business? So probably about 8 months, which is actually pretty quick from what I understand. But at the time, it felt like forever. But yeah, it was about 8 months from saying we want to do this to finding a location to understanding all of the codes, because there's a lot of things that you need to follow, to the build out, and just opening our doors the first day was so exciting. So yeah, about 8 months.
That's awesome. And did you guys have a building that already had build outs, or did you guys have to knock down walls, tear down things, make your own space?
We came to a space that was just totally open floor, so there was no walls. So we had to go through the entire process of the architect and building everything. And so that was a huge learning experience for me. But yeah, that's what we had to do. We actually expanded last year. So we only started with 2 games originally. And then the people that were in the unit next to us left. So we took it over and expanded into the next building. And then did another build out inside of that one.
And do you have any advice for people who are just like you? Because most owners that I talk to, we all have a very, very, very similar story. It's someone mentioned it, we went and played, we're like, oh my God, this is what I need to do. This is our reaction. And then we're like, okay, let's get some ideas, And then from the time that you leave to the time that you start, you're doing nothing but idea, brain racking, and you're having so much fun that you're like, I have to do this. It's consuming my life. And so for people who are there, that are out there like us, do you have any advice for them, or maybe, words of wisdom, or anything that would maybe calm their hearts to know that it's going to happen, or anything, fun to say?
The best thing I can say is that once you finally start on your journey, the best thing that you can do is to quickly spread awareness to the community. I remember I joined the Chamber of Commerce almost immediately, and I introduced myself. And one of the first things I asked was, how many of you have played an escape room? And I think one person raised their hand halfway, maybe. And then the next thing I said, well, how many of you are scared to play an escape room? And a lot of them raised their hands.
Oh, what a great question.
Yeah, because a lot of them a lot of the community, they have this idea of what it is, and a lot of times the idea is not what it is at all. So I always start off by saying, you're not locked in at our location. As I mentioned before, we are totally objective-based games, so there's no need to lock you in at all. You can leave at any time. The rooms are also not that small, so you shouldn't feel claustrophobic. In fact, we've never had anyone exit out because they felt claustrophobic, in 2 years. So I just want to let them know that this is more about solving puzzles, having fun, being immersed in a theme, and trying to almost escape reality for an hour. And it's just great for team building. A lot of our puzzles are focused on communicating. So that way it's almost impossible for someone to play the game without somebody else, because you need to be working together as a team.
Right. Yeah. And I think that your questions, the way that you handled that, your teacher background comes in great, because I would have been like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Like, for someone to like mention that, because I ask a lot of questions too on the show, and I've never had that answer before. So I love that you brought that up. I think that's amazing. Guys, that was it for our show. Thank you so much again for tuning in to Find Your Escape. And Christy, thank you so much for interviewing with your East Coast escape rooms. I loved having you. I really appreciate you being here in the snow. Guys, we will see you next week. Thank you so much for being here. See you later. Bye-bye.